So if you didn't know already, Spike Lee's The Black Klansman, which came out a few years ago with John David Washington, Denzel's son, not only is it one of my most favorite Spike Lee films, it's actually in the conversation for some of my most favorite movies of all time. So Spike Lee's latest release on Netflix, does it hold up? Do I feel the same way about it? Well, let's see. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for The Five Bloods Spike Lee joint on Netflix. I really do appreciate it. And if this is your first time finding me and you want more movie reviews, trailer reactions, me responding to entertainment news or anything I think is cool, please right now click on that subscribe button and also the bell, because it helps me out a lot. The Five Bloods, yes, The Five Bloods is the latest release on Netflix right now from the legendary director, Mr. Spike Lee. I'm a big fan of Spike Lee. He's one of my favorite directors. And he actually won his first Oscar last year, the year before that, for Black Klansman for Best Adapted Screenplay. I think he was kind of snubbed for Best Director, but we can talk about that another time. But I love this guy. I mean, he doesn't always knock him out of the park, but for the most part, he does. I mean, he's done She's Gotta Have It, like I said, Black Klansman, Chirac, Inside Man, Do the Right Thing. I mean, his filmography is long as hell, and he is very talented. And I was really looking forward to this film right here. You know, as soon as I saw the trailer with Chadwick Boseman just a few weeks before its release, and so, you know, it is something that I was really looking forward to. However, I do know that I am late to the party, which we will talk about later, but I haven't seen any reviews, haven't watched any, haven't read any. I gotta go check out my boy E-Man, Sharronda with Pear Weight, Double Toasted, everybody I gotta check out. So I don't know how anyone feels, so you're just gonna get my opinion over here. But what I do want to let you know that I saw a ton of thumbnails and titles for this property right here of it being divisive. Some people didn't like it, some people did like it, some people it has them split right down the middle. But what is this divisive film all about? Well, from Academy Award winner Spike Lee comes a new joint, the story of four African-American vets, Paul Delroy Lindo, Otis Clark Peters, Eddie Norm Lewis, and Melvin Isaiah Whitlock Jr., who returned to Vietnam, searching for the remains of their fallen squad leader, Chadwick Boseman, and the promise of buried treasure. Our heroes, joined by Paul's concerned son, Jonathan Majors, battle forces of a man and nature while confronted by the lasting ravages of the immortality of the Vietnam War. So jumping right into this, to be honest with you guys, I'm torn. You know, there are a number of things that I did love about this film. There's some things that did rub me the wrong way. And also I have a lot of mixed bags in there, multiple as well. But just starting off, I wanted to talk about the cast. This great cast here. Some did better than others. We have Paul, Melvin, Otis, Eddie, and David. Those are the five main characters in this movie. Also, besides Norm, who was played by Chadwick Boseman. And if you think about it, I think those are the five lead names for the Temptations. So whether that was done on purpose or not, or if I'm incorrect, please let me know down in the comments. But just starting out in this movie with things that I just absolutely loved is the brotherhood from the Five Bloods. I mean, these five guys right here, while, you know, they did bicker, while they did argue, while they did bump heads, they really did have a strong brotherhood. You know, I felt like they always had each other's back. You know, they would praise each other when they did well, but also correct each other when they did wrong. And that's just something that I can relate to. I think it's something that everybody can relate to. And just starting out with this great brotherhood, you know, me being a black man and this a predominantly black cast, you know, I just felt like I belong. So from a subjective point of view, that's just something, you know, that I really did appreciate. And, you know, the film made me feel like I was a part of something. And, you know, that's always something that I can appreciate. Now, this also does dive back into present day in 1970, 1975, going talking about the Vietnam War. And one of the things that I like that Spike Lee did is, when you have these characters, he used the same actors, from their modern day age from the past. And the way he did it was, he didn't change actors. He used the same ones. And it's not necessarily them going back in time, but when they do go back in time, they're just remembering the past. So, it's more of a flashback. And the way that he was just able to use some type of either makeup or, de-aging technology with, computer graphics, it worked right. It worked very well. The transition from the scenes from the past or the flashback back to the future or present day, I thought that was phenomenal, and it flowed very, very smooth, and it was really, really easy to digest, at home as a viewer. Now, this movie also does have a lot of references to Apocalypse Now that came out in 1979. You don't have to see that movie to enjoy this film, but if you did see that movie, there are a number of things that you will appreciate, Easter eggs and references like I just stated. Also, something that's cool is, I love a nice war battle firefight, and the ones that we got to witness in this film were phenomenal. I loved all of the choreography, especially some of the long shots that Spike Lee used to make these feel more real and tangible, and something that he was also able to do that just made him stand out from any other director was his various uses of different aspect ratios throughout the film. I mean, we got the full screen, like 17:8 or 16:9, where it fills the whole screen, but we also got the wide 235:1, and we also got like a small old screen TV, and there was also some times to where he would like show like the burn-in images or burn-in sections like on the side or right side of the film reel, and I thought that was great. I mean, it really did suck you into the film, and in some scenes made me feel like I was on the battleground, with the rest of the soldiers, with the Five Bloods. And then he kept switching back into like a first-person shooter. Like this is like a James Bond 007 game on N64 or Call of Duty. It really does, pull you into the movie to make you feel like you're really there. And so while our heroes, the Five Bloods, are in this firefight, and you have this great score in the background with these great changing aspect ratios and lovely choreography, I'm just smiling, eating it up, just like seriously, just like, man, this is dope. Even though this is a dangerous scene and our heroes could die, at the same time, I feel like they just have this cloak of invincibility around them, strengthened by their brotherhood, and it just really makes great high quality entertainment. And it's also about the story itself. Is this an interesting story? Is something that I can get on top of? I mean, yes, like I said, I love brotherhood. They're trying to find gold, and they consider it their reparations. Reparations is well past due for Black Americans in the United States. And so I was just like, okay, I'm on board with this. Let's get this gold. Let's get this reparations. Let's eliminate this system of racism, white supremacy. So I was loving the story from the very beginning. It's pretty easy to follow. And, there's a giant respectability factor as well with them trying to, find their fallen soldier, Chadwick Boseman, whose character in the movie was Norm. Now, as far as Chadwick Boseman is concerned, getting in more depth to the characters, he did a great job. He isn't necessarily, he's the lead character, but not really. And his screen time in this film is not as long as I would have liked it to be. But the short time that he was there, I thought he was great, and he really is a true leader. Now, as far as everybody else is concerned, you also have Melvin and Eddie. I think Melvin is Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and he's been in other Spike Lee films before. He was okay. He was decent. The other guy is Eddie, played by Norman Lewis's real name in real life. I kind of thought that him being pigeon-toed was a little bit much. I don't know anybody. I could be wrong. Anyone that's just kind of that pigeon-toed, and it's just a little exaggerating, and was kind of a distraction for me. But the two main characters in this movie, and one did much better than the other one. First, about like Otis and Paul. Otis, who his real name is Clark Peters, and of course Paul is Delroy Lindo. They were the best in this film, but let's just talk about Otis real quick, because I mean they had more to do. They had more screen time. They had more dialogue. Their characters was flushed out. Otis, he was trying to, close some old wounds from the past. I don't want to spoil anything here, and I liked everything that the character had to go through, to climb that hill. It was a very emotional moment. Whether you agree or disagree with the way everything was handled within those scenes, is debatable. But at the very least, it was powerful and very heartwarming. But let's just go ahead and get to the main thing that I'm pretty sure everyone is talking about is Paul, played by Delroy Lindo. Man, my goodness gracious. If you do not know who this man is, you will now, because this is one of the best performances I've seen in quite some time. I mean, my goodness gracious, you saw this man display on screen every emotion that the human body can dish out, in either at one time or various times throughout the film. I mean, seriously, his performance was pretty much the whole Black experience all balled up into one: frustration, rage, anger, trauma, but also has some love and kindness, and joy as well, and for him to be able to encapsulate all that in one film, in one performance, speaks volumes. And while I haven't seen every performance in the world or every move in the world, I can honestly say without, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I've never seen anything like this before, that just felt really true and genuine, and made my, I had to pick up my jaw a few times just because I was just that blown away with how great of a job he did. If there is no Oscar nomination for this performance, that is a sin in my opinion. But like I said, that is just my opinion. And in his character, you can see so much, just how much pain this man went through. And towards the end, slight spoiler here, it was a line that he, before I say that is, what's very polarized, and I can imagine, is the relationship that he had with the son. Because while in some moments it was great, while in other moments it was absolutely horrible. No one should have to go through that. And one thing that was kind of frustrating me at the beginning and the middle of the film is there was little or no explanation to why there was just such a rift in between their relationship. But towards the end, or even towards the middle and towards the end, they did kind of delve that out. And, while I'm not completely satisfied with it, I mean, it is better than nothing, and I can accept it. I think it is somewhat palatable. But just doing that relationship that they had, like I was saying, there was just so much pain and so much trauma, and just shows that, PTSD is real. And people do need help. They do need to get help. They do need therapy, and there's nothing wrong with that. And especially in the Black community, I don't know. I mean, I've heard this growing up. As far as therapy is concerned, it's always flushed down the toilet or ignored, or just like, oh, we don't need that therapy crap. That's that white people shit. You know what I'm saying? That's stupid and ignorant. And I'm not beating you up if anyone thought that or taught their kids that. But hey, we all have to grow. And get, we can't all grow collectively, and that's just not a mindset that is, constructive or productive to our community. So, I mean, seriously, if you do know someone that needs help or you do, get some therapy, man, because, if you're going through the things that this character did in this film, I feel sorry for you, and I just want to get you some help right away. But I mean, that's just another great thing about this movie, is to where, Spike Lee can bring these things out of you. And there was just one line towards the end of it that just stood out to me. He was I was thinking about not spoiling it, but pretty much everyone has seen this film. He was like, I went back to Nam to tackle the demons that tortured me and that haunted you. And I like that level of responsibility and accountability that he said, that he displayed right there. Just another thing that I did appreciate about this film. Now, while those are all the good things that I liked about this film, there are also some things that I didn't care for too much. The film did not have to be as long. Spike Lee usually does have long films, and it's usually not a problem, but I kind of felt it dragging here a little bit. Also, I do appreciate all my Black history, but I felt that it was kind of shoehorned in here in some points where the conversation or dialogue just wasn't natural, wasn't, genuine or cohesive. It's just like, hey, let's stop right now and have a history lesson, and let me shove these these facts down your throat. I don't mind that being in any film or form of entertainment. It just needs to feel natural, and it was just kind of just didn't in a number of times in this film right here. Also, there were a number of things in this film that were telegraphed from a mile away, where I was like, okay, this character is about to die, and I was able to predict it 45 seconds before it happened. And, while I don't mind characters dying in certain films, as long as it's necessary, and there were some deaths in this film that were necessary, and there were a number of them that just wasn't. And I'm like, Spike, why did you do that? It was completely unnecessary. You still could have landed a powerful punch and give a great message, like you always do, and like you were in this film. But, I don't know. It just seemed like you wanted to be controversial just for no reason. And while there is a level of realism to this film, I wish, from a subjective standpoint, I wish Spike Lee could have sprinkled in just a little bit more fantasy. I don't know why, but it just seems like he just did not want black people to win with the way this movie ended, and that's just kind of a little frustrating to me. But it doesn't, overshadow all the good things. I mean, there are a ton of things that Spike Lee did great in this film, just technically, directional wise. I mean, that no one else can do before. Or excuse me, that I've never seen anyone else do before. Just, his song choice, the score, all these classic songs. I mean, just characters addressing how guilt can eat your way, and just how it's best to let things go and just not hold on to the past, because that's just a waste of time, guys. I mean, you can lose money, but you can gain that back. You can lose material things, but you're going to buy it again. But time is just something that you can never get back. And that's just another one of the underlying themes in this movie on why it was great. But yes, I did say it was great because I liked it. So if I had to give The Five Bloods a rating out of a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to give it, yes, an 8.5 out of 10. The performance from Delroy Lindo was great. Song choice, camera angles, fighting, story, was phenomenal. But those things that did rub me the wrong way had to be addressed. Well, guys, that is just my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel, and also look me up on social media. And guys, I know that I have been absent from videos and social media and things like that. I just needed to step away and do a lot of self-reflecting and decompress and just gather my thoughts with everything that's going around in not just the country, in the world. I have I don't want to just say too much, but I haven't been well, and I just needed some time, and I am sorry about that, but I am good now. So guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget to always chase your dreams, because I'm chasing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.